Management Accounting C370 Unit 2 Summary. Considering about the development of marketing strategies, Porter 1980 states that competitive strategies deal with the development of attributes that characterize a company and differentiate the value it creates and offers in comparison to its competitors. Whereas Porter 1985 argues that a competitive strategy is the combination of activities a company undertakes to gain a sustainable competitive advantage in a particular industry. And according to Aiken 1992, there is a simultaneous consumer and competitor-oriented perspective in the development of competitive strategies. So we'll be looking at the development of competitive strategies in detail later. However, Collier 2015 points out one of the key tools that are used to analyze the market on how to design these competitive strategies. That is the Porter's 5 forces, where in Porter 1990, it was suggested that there are key 5 forces that affect an industry's competitiveness. Considering about Porter's 5 forces analysis, when it comes to an industry, the industrial competition depends mainly on 5 key forces. That is basically the threat of new entry, then the competitive rivalry, the bargaining power of buyers, threat of substitution, and the suppliers' power. When it comes to the threat of new entry, the time and cost of entry, the specialist knowledge, economies of scale, cost advantages, technology protection, barriers to entry, these key things influences the industry competition. Whereas the rivalry among the existing competitors depends on number of competitors, the qualitative differences, the differences in the quality of products, then other differences, switching costs, customer loyalty, cost of leaving the market, bargaining power of buyers. So these things affect. And when it comes to the bargaining power of buyers, the number of customers, the size of each order, the price sensitivity, ability to substitute, these things matter to the industry competition. Moving on to threat of substitutes, the performance of substitutes, the change of cost, these things will influence. And the supplier's power, that is the number of suppliers, the size of suppliers, uniqueness of the service they give, the ability to substitute, the cost of changing, all of these things are going to affect the industry competition. Considering about Porter 1985, sustainable competitive advantage can be achieved with the help of certain generic strategies which are known as Porter's generic strategies. The 3 key generic strategies of Porter include the segmentation strategy, differentiation strategy, and cost leadership strategy. Segmentation strategy is where you have a narrow market scope, and it will help us to achieve some level of competency. It could be based on the uniqueness or low cost. But when it comes to differentiation strategy, that is where you have a broad market scope and you have uniqueness competency. So the key aim of this differentiation strategy is to reduce competitive pressure. Whereas cost leadership strategy is where you have a broad market scope but low cost competencies there. So in this case, we always try to do our value chain activities at a lower cost. So sustained capital investment and tight coordination of activities are required when it comes to this cost leadership strategy. Considering about Porter's generic or competitive strategies in action, Morshett et al. 2006 argues that when it comes to cost leadership, the key question is to minimize costs throughout the value chain activities. But how can we achieve this? That is through minimum investment in store design and atmosphere of the place, through reduction in customer service by being very highly efficient in supply chain operations. There are several businesses that follow this system. That is, for example, Walmart, Lidl, Aldi, they have this cost leadership competitive strategy. But why is it essential? Because cost leadership is essential for price leadership to occur in the long run. Moving on to the next strategy, which is differentiation strategy. This is where you adapt certain store attributes more close to the specific needs of chosen customer segments. So major retailers, they seek to differentiate themselves using customer services. For example, Douglas in Germany, Sephora in France, Nordstrom in USA, and Harrods in London. They have this differentiation strategy, but they use it through customer services. Considering about the critics of Porter's generic strategies, Marshall et al. 2006 points out that this Porter's generic strategies is actually it gives an oversimplified dichotomy of cost leadership and differentiation. This has been proven through research in manufacturing and retail industries. And also they argue that it's not suitable for some industries like the food industry. And empirical evidence on the generalizability of the concept on retailing is rare. For example, Tesco in UK differentiates from the competitors while it offers low prices. And considering about another critique of Porter's generic strategies, that is, a company can only be successful by clearly deciding in favor of one generic strategy. And it says that following more than one generic strategy at the same time makes you stuck in the middle. And this has been proven through research in manufacturing and retail industries. So although Porter suggests 3 strategies can be used, Marshall et al. Says that using more than one at a certain time will make you stuck in the middle. Whereas Wurtzel 1987 argues that companies need to be significantly more attractive to consumers than to their competitors in order to develop a strategic position in the market. And his argument is that more than one of the competitive strategies can be used, and they can be achieved using different instruments. And when it comes to what he argues, he says that product differentiation can be achieved through different assortment. Service and personality differentiation can be achieved through unique services and personality. And apart from that, they also can have price leadership. That's his key argument. So now you can watch the linked notes video to check out all of those factors highlighted in detail.